All right, what's good, people? Welcome back. Great Awakening Map, Part 3. And as you can see by the title, we're about to get deep, but not in the philosophical sense. We're about to get inner Earth deep, Vatican deep, reptilian deep. We're about to go and see what's deep underneath this earth that we walk on every day because I think there is definitely something going on that we don't know about. And I'm going to give you my reason to why I think what I think. A lot of evidence out there right now to support the theory that I have, which is there could possibly have been in our past an ancient civilization and could possibly be one here now. But I'm gonna give you the evidence that I have, and I want to start with something that I say I can wrap my mind around. You know what I mean? And this is by a brother by the name of Proveen Mohan, who has been on this journey for the last 11 years that I can see as far as his videos span back. And I started watching his videos about 2 years ago. And through the course of that time, I've never seen him be disrespectful or use any type of a political standpoint. I haven't seen him like push a religious agenda. And for some reason, he was demonetized on YouTube and he was banned off Facebook. So I want to give him some props and respect for what he's doing out there and also encourage people to go and listen to his videos because I feel like he's highly intelligent. He's deep and passionate about what he's speaking on. And today he's talking about secret underground cities at a certain section. So, to minimize the time, he's speaking on inner earth civilizations. If I get this video to play for you.
Just cover these holes by putting concrete over them. What else could be the purpose of these deep holes on the floor if they are not ventilation shafts? Why would hundreds of holes be drilled on these rock floors with painstaking efforts by putting concrete?
Let me see if I can find my place.
Look at this long ventilation shaft in Ellora Caves that is drilled secretly in a dark chamber.
Okay, for some reason, this is where I want to start.
To be a vast underground city like Derinkuyu in Turkey. Derinkuyu is an enormous underground city with advanced technical features that could accommodate more than 20,000 people. Remember that Derinkuyu was hidden for centuries only to be discovered in 1965. If it's true that there is a vast underground city in Ellora, shouldn't there be ventilation shafts that would allow air from the ground to reach below?
Shafts. Okay. Basically, what he just said there is a city was found with it can house 20,000 people. I mean, like that's evidence right there that there could have been other civilization. How did they do this? How did they move that earth out? What technology did they have? You know what I'm saying? And what were they afraid of? Was this after what they call the Great Deluge, which is what we know as the Great Flood? Why were they afraid? And there's some other caves that also had two-ton rolling stones in front of their openings. Like these people were able to move 2 tons, a rolling stone 2 tons. But anyway, I digress. I want to go on to my next clip to show, and before I play this is from ABC. Mainstream media is never going to tell the complete truth, in my opinion. So when they start trickling down things like this, it's some big shit going on somewhere. And let me see if I can. Hopefully, this video won't cut out on me. But I want to show you what they found because they actually put some drones underground.
Ginger and her drones inside the planet's most magnificent.
Okay, let me skip a little bit to save time.
The jewel in the crown of Sangdong Cave. It's the moment that took my breath away. And it's
this isn't even that deep.
We're not even halfway there yet.
Sweat. We press on, and suddenly I'm in a jungle under a second monster skylight. Not atop a mountain, but inside it. Way inside it. More than 800 feet below the surface.
You don't normally get trees and jungle in caves. That's why it's quite different.
Jungle plants and animals from above adapting to this unique subterranean netherworld.
We've come across monkeys, sticks thrown at me by monkeys.
In here?
In here,
They're
yeah.
throwing sticks at
Throwing
you.
sticks.
What a view from those drone cameras. This mammoth crater, big.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. There's no need to go any further. Like, because if they're showing you this is only the tip of the iceberg. If they're willing to go and show you, and he said there's monkeys under there throwing sticks. Like so monkeys seen you before or something. That because animals they're afraid of humans. They're very afraid of humans. They attack another animal, but a human they kind of stand off. But they're throwing sticks. How long have they been down there? What's their food source? How do they survive without direct sunlight? It's a lot of things that that we don't know. A lot of questions needs to be asked. But I'm going to try to move forward to continue to prove my point. I'm going to try to show you a little bit of Corey Good, because Corey Good is, I listen to Corey Good because he's backed by David Wilcock. And if you know anything about Gaia, he's a very big part of Gaia. And David Wilcox has been on this disclosure about UFO disclosure for years, and a lot of other things too. He definitely hates the cabal. And let me be clear about the cabal, because a lot of people get cabal confused with Kabbalism. They're completely two different things, two completely different spellings. One begins with a K, the other a C. But either way, though, they're two completely different things. And he is about exposing the cabal. And I listen to Corey Good because he's backed by David Wilcock. But Corey Good says some things that are off this planet, literally. But let me show you what he's saying about inner Earth civilization. I'm gonna start at the 32-minute mark.
To go together like a puzzle, puzzle by numbers. And
he's saying some other things that's kind of
actually,
interesting too before he gets to the inner
to
Earth.
build out
I just want you
an
to listen to
outpost
that
on
a little
Mars.
bit also.
And we used a lot of the local materials on the surface after they had built below ground, and it was very much like this. It was much lower tech than you would expect. The interplanetary corporate conglomerate. We've talked about how they use slave labor. They have been in continual trade with over 900 ET species. And believe it or not, non-terrestrials from other star systems are traveling here because they love the technology we built. This advanced, there are
It's kind of hard to believe, ain't it?
Coming to trade in their used cars for cars that we built. That's not bizarre. I mean, that's how far ahead our breakaway civilization is. Now, they don't have money in the cosmos.
Here we go. Listen to this kind of
system.
Careful right here.
And they barter and trade technology and biological material. And I'll kind of leave it at that. I don't want to get too dark, but it involves the human slave trade.
See what I mean? It always
Close
comes
to 1
back
million people a year.
to where we are right now. But I just wanted you to hear that part.
Inner Earth seems to be probably the most popular topic that I've talked about. A lot of you remember me talking about witnessing the city in the deep cavern. This is an animation that Renee created to help depict it. It's very good. The only difference is the cavern was the size of a state. There's no way to really accurately depict on scale how large it was. Unbelievable. There was mist up along the ceiling of the cavern. It was, I mean, like New York or Man.
Okay, and I'll leave that right there. That's just to go to show you the sci-fi side of it. That's how far and how deep this thing go. But I still want to give more credence to what I could say, something tangible that you can wrap your mind around. So and before I do that, let me say it's still some good things going on. It's still some good things going on, because the Nordics. I want to bring up the Nordics because the Nordics tie into somehow this RH negative factor. Somehow the Nordics tie into that. So, and what I mean is when you look up the Nordics, And I'm bringing up the Nordics for three different reasons. The first reason is because it ties into this Rh negative thing. You know, they doing a study right now. It's Rh negative blood alien in origin, and I know that seems crazy, and everybody like, okay, what credence to this? What proof you have? Where you get this from? Okay, I'm gonna let you know in a second. All right, now the Nordics are a non-human-like species who first began appearing to contactees in the 1950s. Now, what I heard about that is I read a story about 2 years ago about a gentleman by the name of Valiant Thor who worked with the U.S. military, and this man claimed he was from Venus. That's crazy, right? Now you see this part, and I told you it was two reasons. I mean, three reasons. First of all, you know, it ties into the Rh negative, and that's the it's a good. They're here to help us based on what I can read on. But also, 2 weeks ago, the New York Times released an article saying that due to some type of study, and I can't get into the details because I haven't read this complete article yet, but some type of atmosphere studies, they're saying there possibly could be life on Venus. All of a sudden, they're saying that. But as of lately, it's a lot of evidence and things that are coming out. But I just want to give that to you as a sidebar, But I'm gonna go back to this inner Earth reptilian theory I have going on. Why is the Vatican up here? Why is the Vatican? I think I know why, but before I get into the Vatican and show you why I believe they're up here, I want to talk about this Lucifer telescope. You see, these are one of these things that end up being misleading because there is a telescope called the Lucifer telescope, and the Vatican does own a telescope. Now, there is a misbelief that the Vatican owns a telescope named the Lucifer telescope. That's not true. Here's the funny part about it. Actually, it's a sinister sense of humor the way this article breaks it down. So when I read this article, I found out that the Vatican a few years ago they wanted to build a telescope. So they had to buy a piece of land, and it has to be elevated a certain, height or whatever. So the piece of land they bought already had another telescope up there. So when the people who owned this telescope found out that the Vatican had bought the land adjacent to where their telescope was, they decided to change the name of their telescope to the Lucifer telescope. And that's how it got the name. And then, of course, a lot of rumors got out saying that the Vatican owned this telescope. They don't have to own a telescope named Lucifer for them to be into a whole lot of shit, because we already know that, because they're already mixed in a lot with pedophilia. So they don't have to name the telescope Lucifer. We can see that without a telescope. You feel me? But let me tell you why they're up here based on this reptilian agenda. Now, this is what I found out. This is what I found out. Now, this is where the Pope does all his speeches from. This is where he addresses his hall. Look at this. What is that? What is that? Now, the Pope is going to be sitting right here, and he addresses the audience from a chair that's situated him smack dab in between what clearly appears to be two fangs. Is that not? And the two stained glass windows on each side give the appearance of eyes. Does it not? Does that not look like a serpent? You know what I'm saying? But the Vatican, actually, I didn't pull it up. I'm gonna try to add these pictures in, that I found a couple of hours ago. The Vatican actually, the emblem is two keys, right? And when you take a picture from above the Vatican, it actually looks like a keyhole. Because you think about Rome invaded a lot of countries. They didn't burn and destroy everything. They kept a lot of that information, and it's deep in the Vatican. If you read Dan Brown Da Vinci Code, he talks heavily about the Vatican. They have a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. And for some reason, they do their speeches. They allow somebody to do this shit. Come on, dog. Look at this. Look at the window panes here. It's made to look like kind of like snake skin. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I feel like they definitely know something about this reptilian information. And let me be clear about the serpent and the reptile and the reptilians. It seems to be some different scheme going on with reptilians and the serpent. It's something different about it. Because if you look at an ambulance, you have an ambulance that has a serpent wrapped around a rod or a staff or something, right? That's that emblem. Then you have another ambulance that has two snakes, doing making a double helix, going rising to the top, and more than likely at the top of that it have the wings. So in different religions, you have what they call I don't want to kill that name, but it's like the name means the plumed serpent. So you have a representation of what they call the Kundalini energy also. It's hard to get those. I mean, it's easy to get those two confused: the reptilian agenda and the serpent agenda. But I'm just giving credence to where I found the reptilian information from. But anyway, back to this reptilian agenda, and I want to show you why I believe there could possibly be other underground civilizations. Okay, let's go to the Dogon tribe, right? Because I'm about to get back to this whole serpent and reptilian thing. Then the Dogon tribe. Before I tell you why I believe what they say, I want to give credence to what they're actually saying. Because people in our history, they know this shit, man. They know this. And they don't teach us this in school. If you've ever heard of the Sirius A star or the Sirius star constellation, it's stars A, B, and C, the Dogon tribe knew about B and C far before NASA did. Because it was a anthropologist by the name of Marcel Gruel, if I'm saying his name correctly, who visited the Dogon tribe back in the early 40s. He spent a period of over 20 years with this tribe. And it took him that long to learn their ways. And they finally opened up to him. And they told him, they pointed to Sirius A based on the stories that he had written about. They pointed at Sirius A. And they said, there's another star that orbits Sirius A, but you can't see it. And this star is so heavy that you couldn't lift up a grain of it. You couldn't lift up 1 ounce of it. That's what they were saying. So, and he was asking them, so how can we see it? And he said, they told him every 50 to 60 years it orbits. So when he finally leaves the tribe, he goes to NASA and tell them, if you point your telescope to a Sirius A during this period of time, you should see another star orbiting. And they're like, okay, whatever, man. They do this because they trust him or whatever. They do it, and what do you know? Here's Sirius B. But remember I told you about Sirius C also, right? They also said that was there. Now, these people have no telescope. They don't even have a written language. They actually live on the outskirts of Mali, Africa, because they refuse to conform to the religious beliefs of everybody else, in Africa, which was starting to be Muslim. For some reason, Muslim and Christianity, they weren't going for that. So they went to the outskirts of Africa. Man, how did they know that this star was there? And then in 1995, the other star that they said would appear, appeared. Just like they said it would. How did they know? Because they said, let me go back to the top. They said the people that gave them this information came from the Sirius A star constellation. And why? And let me see. This is what they say about them. Okay. Read a small excerpt from there. It said the key spiritual figures in the religion were the Numu or Nomo twins. According to Agata Matali's description of them, the Numu, whom he also referred to as the serpent, were amphibians that were often compared to serpents, lizards, chameleons, and occasionally the mammal sloth because of their slow movement. And that sounds like the sleep stacks. In the land of the lost, the sleep stacks are coming. They move right slow. That's what it sounds like, man. But these people had this belief for thousands and thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. So if they knew about the Sirius A star system, and they knew about the Sirius B and C without a telescope, doesn't that give credence to what they're saying about these serpent people? And they're not the only ones saying this. It's several religions. Even I think the Navajo Indians, they say it's an underground civilization. They call it ant people. And that gets into the grays, but I ain't gonna go on point on that anymore. You know what I'm saying? All right, and then I want to give a little bit more credence to why I believe there is still some type of serpent or reptilian connection. I'm gonna go into what's called the Emerald Tablets. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. You know what I'm saying? And before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about Thoth. Thoth is worshipped in Egypt, I guess. You know what I'm saying? He's actually not worshipped. He's considered a god, and he's considered a scribe also. And if you follow him close enough, some people believe that he is also Hermes. I want to say his name is Hermes Trismegistus, and he's worshipped by the Greek or listened to by the Greeks. followed by the Greeks. And also, some religions believe that Thoth could be Enoch. I'm gonna eat this man is everywhere, and then he goes all the way back into Africa again under another name that I can't pronounce, so I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, so and to give more credence to him, if you go to the Library of Congress, this is what you're gonna see on the door. On the Library of Congress, just like on the back of the dollar bill, you see the pyramid. At the Library of Congress, this is what you're going to see on the front door. So, and I just want to say that to give credence to what I'm about to read to you right now. And let me give this book that I have right here is called the Capodian of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and it's written by a man by the name of Billy Carson. It's not actually written by him; it's a Capodian of these Emerald Tablets, where he just break down, different parts of it and give credence to it, somewhat like I'm doing this video, except on a higher level. Because Billy Carson goes hard, and he also actually has a Unite the 99. That's a kind of like a new social media site that he's trying to start, and he has forbiddenknowledge.com, and he also has Forbidden Knowledge TV, where he drops documentaries in depth on sound and different discoveries. He's what they call an anomaly hunter. So he views videos from NASA of Mars and different satellite images of Mars and try to find anomalies or whatever. Okay, now let me get back to this serpent, because this right here is very deep. Now, these emerald tablets is 13 emerald tablets. They were translated years ago, even by Sir Isaac Newton. He had a copy of them. And he's responsible for discovering gravity. But if you read these tablets, Thoth was talking about gravity in these tablets, and he called it the Earth Force. And it's real strange that Isaac Newton also was known for having a copy of this, or either trying to translate it. But anyway, this translation that I'm reading right now was released in 1925. All right, now let me get into this part right here. It says, out of the great deep were they called by the wisdom of earthmen, called for the purpose of gaining great power. Far in the past, before Atlantis existed, men they were who delved into darkness, using dark magic, calling up beings from the great deep below us. Forth came they into this cycle, formless were they of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of men. Only through blood could they have formed being. Only through man could they live in this world. In ages past were they conquered by masters, driven below to the place whence they came, driven below. But some they were who remained, hidden in spaces and plains unknown to man. Lived they in Atlantis as shadows, but at times they appeared among men. Aye, when the blood was offered, right back to this blood sacrifice and shit. For they came, they dwell among men. In the form of man, they amongst us, but only to sight were they as are men, only to sight. Serpent-headed, when the glamour was lifted, but appearing to men as men among men, crept they into the councils, taking forms that were like unto men, slaying by their arts the chiefs of the kingdoms, taking their form and ruling over men. Only by magic could they be discovered. Only by sound can their faces be seen. Sought they from the kingdom of shadows to destroy man and rule in his place. But know ye, the masters were mighty in magic, able to lift the veil from the face of the serpent, able to send him back to his place. Came they to man and taught him the secret, the word that only a man can pronounce. Now, let me tell you why I stopped there, because it's so funny they say the word that only a man can pronounce, because if you're a serpent, you can't pronounce certain words. If I know it sounds crazy, but if you were a serpent, you wouldn't be able to pronounce certain words. So you can be easy to sneak in and get amongst us. But if we had a certain word that we asked or required you to say, and you couldn't say it, we would know who you were. But let me go further. Swift then they lifted the veil from the serpent and cast forth from the place among men. Yet beware, the serpent still liveth. Let me finish off right here. In a place that is open at times to the world, Unseen they walk among thee, in places where the rites have been said. Again, as time passes onward, shall they take the semblance of men. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to just take that in and believe it just from a guy reading that on YouTube. But I'm telling you, man, go back and read that. Go over some of this information, in which I will leave the description for in the leave the link for in the description box. Go back and look over some of this stuff. Try to find credence to some of the things that I'm saying, because I know if you're watching this video, inside you, you know that there's something wrong, and you know there's a lot of lies being told, right? But right now, this is the Great Awakening, people. And I hope you enjoyed the information and can use it. And if you did, do all the things that they tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video. Until the next time, y'all have a good day.